Good morning, everyone. It's another Monday. The video I worked on last night was from the prior Monday. I was supposed to have 2 mulching projects last week, but it only ended up being one, which was going back out to where those 2 mobile homes were. The other one was an embankment job, and that ended up not doing that. I should have gone and looked at the job first, but it was a lot that I had actually bush hogged for the city like 3 years ago, and I remembered the embankment, and I remember it not being that bad. But what I didn't remember was the silt fence, the double silt fence that was there. And down in the city also requires the silt fence to be wire backed. So when I got there, because of the wire and the silt fence, I couldn't mulch it as it was. So I went in there trying to, with the bucket, to try to get the silt fence out. And as I was pulling that out, I was digging up a lot of rock and brick and concrete that had been pushed off when it was backfilled, which was going to make even more problems when it came to mulching. So I was doing the job. I was subbing out for a site work guy, and after about 30 minutes, I just called him and I said, you know, if this was my job, you'd be better off just coming in here with, you know, a bigger machine, I think he has a 210 excavator. I was like, you're better off just coming here and ripping this whole thing out, and just regrading the whole slope, getting rid of all this brush, and just being done with it. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. So, but I did a lot of deliveries last week. That kept me busy, and we're just trying to get back into it. So we got a mulching job today, but I got to get this old girl off the trailer. We haven't seen her in a bit, so I went down to the farm job yesterday and finally got her off that job, and got her back here to the farm. So I'm gonna unload it, and we're gonna go get the Mini, and the Mini's got an issue with it as well. I'll show you guys what that is. We're hopefully gonna fix that later this week, but let's get this bad boy off and get to work today. There's one thing I do not like about this machine is that thing beeps so loud when you crank this thing up. Come on. I'll wait for that light. There we go. There she goes. About 50 hours from the service. All right, let's get her off the trailer. Needs a bath. Oof. All right, about to get the Mini loaded up. I'm going to put both the buckets on the trailer, and then we're going to hook the mulcher up. The problem I've got with the Mini though is track's broken. You can see right here the metal cord that's in the track has busted right there, and you can actually see, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but it's actually, the track is pulling that way because this side has lost tension and this side still got tension, so it's kind of cockeyed that way. So I've got a mulching job I've got to do, and I've got a debris cleanup job. I got some debris I got to put in some dumpsters on another job really quick. I'm hoping this thing will last. I ordered a new track on Friday. I got a new sprocket as well. I picked the sprocket up this morning from the Kubota dealer, so I'm hoping this thing will just last me the next few hours. The mulching job we got to do is not too big, so, but I'm gonna try to get, hopefully the track will be here by tomorrow or Wednesday, and then landscaper Greg's gonna help me put the new track on and the sprocket, and be back to work. So let's get my buckets unloaded here and get the mulcher hooked up and get to this mulching job. So what I've done there is relieve the pressure in the auxiliary line. So when I switch this over to the mulcher side, there won't be any pressure behind this quick coupling that will keep it from hooking up. So hopefully this will hook up quite easily. Always want to make sure your quick connect heads are clean too. There's not any dust or dirt on them. Go in easily, please. No. Okay. So, all right. I think we've got pressure on this side. So we're gonna have to crack the lines. Let's see if the other side will go. This side is the return, I believe. Yeah, this is the return side. So hopefully, maybe it wants to go. Oh, there's a lot of pressure on that side too. Oh, I think it's in the mulcher side. I don't think it's on this side. Yeah. Let me see. Sometimes you can press on these males. You can kind of press. Oh, well, they got oil all over me. Yay! Okay, well, it was on that side then. Well, that worked. Here's one side, and I'm oily. Well, okay, oh, got it. Yay. There's some good news. All right, we're gonna switch this back so we can get our thumb back up. All right, we're in business. Mulcher's hooked up. All right, here's a little tech tip for the day. This valve right here is a one-way, two-way valve, almost like a check valve, I guess. And what this does is, so if you're running the thumb, the oil has to be able to go both forward and back to be able to articulate the thumb up and down. On the mulcher, the oil only has to go one way, in one side and out the other back to the tank and back through the pump again. So it just makes a circle over and over and over. What this does, so that's on two-way right now to articulate the thumb. I'm going to turn it onto one way. And what that does is it acts as a backstop and keeps the oil from coming back the other way. And the Dash 4s, so this is the Dash 4 model of this Kubota. It's an older model, 2014. The new Dash 5s have a completely different setup hydraulically, and all this has been completely redesigned. This valve is not here on the new Dash 5 models. And because I looked at one today when I picked up the sprocket, they had one out there, and I think it's electronic. And if you're running mulchers on one of these Kubotas, on one of the new Dash 5 models, you need to make sure that you are turning that one way on, however it is it's done. I think it's done through the computer, because a guy I've been helping out getting his Kubota set up with a pre-noth mulcher, Kubota delivered it with the mulcher all hooked up, and they didn't show him how to use it properly, and he was using the thumb button, which you can use to run the mulcher, but the one way was not turned on, and I think he was running it and rocked it back the other way, and it blew the seal, one of the seals out in the motor on the mulcher, and he had to take the mulcher back in. They had to take the motor out of the mulcher, put a new seal in. It was a whole ordeal. So just make sure, you know, if you got one of these Dash 4s and you're running a mulcher or a brush cut or whatever, this one way needs to be turned. And there's a little thing up here that shows you what that is up here. If you got one of the new Dash 5 models, you better figure it out, because you'll blow up a seal in a motor, and that's not cheap. So tech tip for the day. All right, let's get to the job. All right, everybody, so here's the mulching project we got to take care of. We're down here on this little vacant lot right next to the ocean. The ocean's right over there. And so I know the guy that mows this lot, and the client wants this mulch down. There's a retaining wall here. The property line is all the way over there, in that where that culvert pipe comes out at. They want me to just, you know, track up to the wall and reach over and cut as much of this back as possible, and then I'm gonna take some measurements on this wall about possibly having this replaced. Landscaper Greg is gonna look at doing that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the machine up like this along it and just reach out and mulch as much as I can. You would think you would want to come along here and mulch it like this, you know, and track along it like that. But the problem with this wall being, you know, as bad a shape as it is and being undermined, if the wall were to fail and I go down, that's going to be a lot harder recovery than if I'm sitting right here and it fails. Then I can just back right out, no big deal. So that's why, like, if you're working off one of these little walls or a ledge or something like that, it's a lot safer for the machine typically to pull up like this. And it's also a lot less, you know, the machine's a lot more stable as well, so I don't have to worry about tipping over. So now if this wall was, you know, not being, you know, in bad a shape as it is and not being torn out, I would track along it. But the other issue is I've got the road. So we're kind of down right here below the grade of the road, so I'm gonna try to mulch this stuff down close to the ground as possible, so anything does go out, it'll go into this embankment here, you know, and hopefully stop it from going out into the road. I'm gonna try to keep as good an eye as I can on traffic, so I didn't want to block the road off, but this avenue is not used a whole lot. But all right, let's get Munchie spun up and let's start mulching this down. Okay, this is done. They told me they didn't want me to mess with that tree, not to worry about it. And then I got to this red maple right here, and the top was a little soft, so I just started shaving it up. And once I got down to the bottom, it was a little hard, so I left it and I just took the chainsaw and cut it up, cut it down as close as I could get it about to the ground. But yeah, that turned out well. I'm gonna send some pictures to the client. I took the hedge trimmer really quick and just ran down the block wall and just kind of cleaned that little bit of edge up. But I don't think it matters too much because this wall is coming out anyway, so a lot of that stuff's gonna come out, but it looks good. That's all they wanted done. So all right, I'm gonna load up the machine. We got to go clean up some debris and some landscape debris and put it in some dumpsters. So let's go over to that job and try to be productive before the end of the day. All right, so here's the second part of today's project, or today's work, I guess. But so Kelly's been managing this job. We've been down here doing a landscaping job, and we've got to get this pile of debris, that pile down there, and this pile in these dumpsters, or at least get as much of it in there as I can until they fill up. So it's a pretty, all three of them are pretty decent size. We'll see if they're big enough to put it all in there. If not, they'll come and empty them and swap them out, and we'll get another one and come back here and throw the rest of it in there. So there's still, we're probably gonna have to get more dumpsters because there's some more palm trees and other stuff that's still left to be done. So let's try to get as much of this cleaned up as we can. Okay, dumpsters are full, and I got most of the debris up except for a little bit off that pile over there, but we still have a lot more debris. So we're gonna swap these cans out and get 2 more dumpsters, and Kelly will be back over here with the landscaper guys tomorrow. I've got a little project to do on a previous project. We gotta do a little tidy up work on a pad I put in for the Y. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And yeah, so as long as this machine can get me through that job tomorrow, we should be okay. So all right, I'm out of here. Not too bad of a day, so I will check you guys later. Bye everybody.